Alright, so in this lesson, we're going to compile all of this Unreal script that we've put together. We're going to test this out inside the game itself, and then, barring maybe one or two changes we might have to make for the occasional spelling error, we're going to do a little bit of debugging, and we'll bring this BTM to a close.
Okay, so the first thing we want to do now that we have all our classes assembled in the project folder is compile them.
Okay.
Now, I've got context set up with a few execute keys to actually run a batch file I've set up, which in turn executes UCC make and specifies a certain ini file. Again, compiling itself is covered more in other lessons, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave that set up.
All right.
Basically, we have the LP Rifle project folder set up in our EACH 2004 directory.
Cool.
So with that, I'm going to hit my key that I used to compile, which will execute that batch file, run through and check for a possible U file for LP Rifle, and if it doesn't find it, it'll compile through. Now, we got all the way down to LP Rifle Alt Fire, where it appears to be missing, I don't know, maybe missing a Terminator, but let's check that out. LP Rifle Alt Fire, line 11, so it's Control G and jump to line 11. And there we go, no Terminator.
There we go.
So, save that out.
I knew there had to be at least one.
Recompile. So, take two.
Thinking.
And let's check out LP Rifle Fire. Check that out, when we copied functionality, we ended up copying the syntax error as well.
That's funny.
So again, just a simple Terminator. And compile. Let's see, two more errors. Unknown property, attachment class. Let's check out LP Rifle.
And it's because I can't spell attachment.
Attachment class. And Bob dampening. Let's see. Let me recompile with this and see. I'll have to take a look at the Bob dampening now. Let me check that out. So unknown default property. Is it just Bob damping? And let me recompile.
That's okay. I was just typing whatever I heard.
Yeah, it's Bob damping, not Bob dampening.
We're not making it wet.
But check that out, though. It's compiling just fine now. Success, no errors, no warnings.
Very cool.
So barring just a spelling error here and there in a Terminator.
That wasn't so bad. I did pretty well.
Not bad at all, really. So with that, let me go ahead and launch the game. I've got another execute key set up inside of context, simply linking to the game itself. So we'll load that up.
Isn't that convenient?
Now, instead of joining a game normally, I'm just going to type open and then a map I want to test, so maybe DM Gale. A little bit quicker in this case since I've been using it to test so much.
Which happens to be one of Logan's favorite levels, and he's just unstoppable on this level.
It's a cool map.
It is.
Just you in a 2-level arena. Oh yeah.
All right.
So first thing, I want to kill out the bot. Kill a bot or kill bots or whatever command you like to use, just to keep this clean for when we do testing. Now, let's see if we can summon the rifle itself. So to do that, I'll use the summon command. Summon LP Rifle, which is the package that we've been compiling to.
Right.
Dot LP Rifle Pickup. Hey, check it out. We can see some. So, pickup class appears to be working and is definitely displaying correctly. So let's try and pick it up. You got the laser pulse rifle.
Sweet.
That's good. If I switch to item 4, which is what the inventory group that we specified, check it out. We can see it.
There's its basic colors that we put on earlier.
It looks kind of like a plastic toy, but I mean we can in fact see it, and it is aligned correctly.
Right. So we know we did something right.
So now let's fire, and yep, we can fire.
Sweet.
Also notice the ammo counting up: 75, 76, 77. Let's try the alt fire. Right click.
Boom.
Check it out. Contact grenades.
Yep. And they're not spinning when they rotate through the air anymore.
And also, it's kind of hard to see, but the muzzle flare is spawning a little bit lower for that one.
Now you can see it. That's really cool.
Now, one other thing, though, is it'd be kind of cool to be able to take a look at those projectiles a little bit closer. I mean, yeah, you can kind of tell the grenade's working, but it's hard. It's basically an arcing grenade. We want to make sure we can see that. There's an interesting command called Players Only, which will like it suggests, freezes everything except you, or players running around the level. Now, I want quick access to this. I want to be able to freeze time very quickly, run up to a projectile that I've just fired, and see what it looks like. So in order to give me quick access to this command, I'm going to bind it to a key. To do that, I'll simply use set space input, and then the command I want, or set input, let's say P. So set input, the key, the command. So set input P, players only.
So you're binding players only to the P key.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
You could also open up the advanced properties and set it to the dialog there, but this is a little bit faster. So I can fire now. I'm going to fire and then hit the P key. Fire, pause. So check that out. We get the bolt to hang in midair, and there we can see some of the changes we did. It is the original mesh of a Link Pulse Fire, basically.
Right.
Just scaled and stretched out. We can see we have a trail which we borrowed from, or where we spawned a flat trail, but then changed it to green. Then finally, that little glowing ball in the middle of it, that's where I had to use part of a modified texture to convert that to green as well.
I gotcha.
But there's basically detailing what we did with the primary projectile. Let's let that play, and now I'm going to actually jump down into the main arena. Now let's test out the grenade. So, grenade fire P. So far, so good. So we have the grenade basically facing the trajectory. So if I follow it now, there we go.
That is just too cool.
So with that, I'll sporadically jump into the edge of the level. Let me just back up a little and resummon it. Now,
you did that on purpose, I'm sure.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
So with that, let me add a bot back in. Maybe turn on God mode too. Just because the 100 damage is kind of funny.
Right. Oh, wow.
So that's about it. One hit, one kill. So, I mean, with that, the weapon... Well, actually, let's check a few other things. I haven't yet checked out the third person. That'd be kind of cool. So, kill bots. Once again, no more bots. Now, to do this, instead of a simple behind view, I'm actually going to do free camera 1. This way, we can actually look around our player. So far,
nice.
so good. We can see the third-person model. If I fire, there we go, spawning the projectile. And yes, the spawn offset does look a little bit funny from where it appears to actually be spawning. Keep in mind, though, that this is a general tweaking option that it's not really worth it to get dead on perfect because of the different ways your player may be looking, how fast your player may be moving, and so on.
Sure, I mean, they could be in the middle of a double jump or a backflip or any kind of crazy thing at the time they shoot. So, I mean, it's not really worth digging into and spending hours of your time worrying about.
But we do have the muzzle flare spawning from the correct location. Then if we alt-fire, possibly hard to see once it's compressed, but it is spawning from the alternate tip 2 attachment.
Very cool.
So, I mean, with that, we have all the classes working. We have the pickup. We can see it on the ground.
Cool. Well, before we leave, let's go ahead and just change one thing. Let's just assume that, you're doing this at home, and maybe there's something you wanted to change.
Okay.
So, I don't know, maybe the color of the projectile. Because, a green projectile coming out of that thing looks a lot like the Link gun to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, though, since that's a little bit hard to, that's tricky to adjust because a new new projectile spawn every time we fire. So basically, we'd have to spawn, stop, and edit that one. Something interesting, though, like I was saying before, the tweaking option of the actual weapon offset.
Okay.
Let me take a look at tweaking that. Since we have an LP rifle class...
I didn't mean tweak it in the game. I meant to actually go back into the code and change it.
Oh, this is kind of cool. A little bit of in-game tweaking. There's a command called Edit Actor.
All right.
And we specify a class. So say class equals LP rifle. LP rifle properties.
Oh, wow. So
now,
that's right out of Unreal Engine.
This is going to depend on whether or not I have small weapons set or not. But if I go under first person and we have small view offset, this is where we set from default properties, but I should be able to tweak it. Let me grab an easier console maybe. All right, fine, I'll use escape. But let's take Z maybe and move it up some. So -4.
Oh, there you go.
So basically, we are using small view offset. And here's something interesting to think about. Yes, this is a very cool option for tweaking the exact position of your gun. As you can sit here now and position it real time.
That's
the thing is, though, you can only position the small view offset real time. Player view offset itself is constantly being used in game, meaning that theoretically you can change it here, but the not player view pivot, but player view offset. As a matter of fact, it may not, in this current build, it may not even be listed in the properties anymore.
Okay.
Which makes sense, though, as it was not really, you couldn't really set it, as the code was constantly updating it, possibly based off of the small view offset. Because technically, player view offset was more of an internal, the variable the code would currently use to position it.
Okay.
Small view offset is a possible configuration on top of that. So just make sure that you have small weapons turned on, and then you can tweak the small view offset to your liking and see the effect of that real time or update real time in the game. So that's very helpful for when you first bring your gun in and it's lined up wrong. You need to line it up. It's very easy now. You can see the effect immediately as opposed to having to recompile.
Can we still change the color of the projectile?
Not easily. Like I said, we'd have to. Here's how we could theoretically go about it. Well, unless you want to recompile it.
Yeah, let's just do it. Come on.
All right.
Just to show, after they get done coding, maybe there's something they want to change.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So back under the LP projectile, I don't know, let's take the green to Let's make it blue instead. Or do you want red?
I don't care. Anything other than green, because the Link gun already had a green projectile.
So let's just take, I'll change it to red.
That
so
works.
I'll take the green and red, set them to 0. Well, that'll result in blue, but still a different color. So we'll save that. I'll recompile again. Now, the batch file I have here is responsible for deleting out the possible.u file. Of course, if you've compiled before, you'll know you have to actually go in there and delete out the .u. But that all set up, it all recompiled, so let's test it out. Load the game up real quick, one last time.
Now, I'm guessing that little ball texture we have in the middle of that will probably still be green.
Yes.
Okay.
That we would have to go back out and change the texture.
Yeah, actually, but we're not going to go into all of that. But just something simple that we could change in code to show you how to go about fixing something that you may not like in your code.
Alright, first things first. Kill bots upon spawning. Or did I not join the match yet? Very good. So kill bots. And let's say summon the rifle again. LP rifle pickup. So we're gun and we fire and check that out. Let me see if I still have my freeze time keybind.
And you do. All right, nice blue streak coming off the side of it.
Yeah, it is a little thinner though because there was not much blue in the original flak trail.
Right.
This is where it was just kind of convenient to shift it to green because it already had the yellow in it, so it was very easy to shift it over to green.
That's cool though.
But I mean, again, that is a visible change. It is now blue. You could probably change it to red a lot easier, but again.
Yeah, but I mean, just showing you how you could go back into the code and make minor changes. So, that's pretty awesome.
So with that, that's pretty much going to wrap this up. I mean, we went over exactly how you go, starting in Maya. You've got your gun mesh modeled, animated, but then you need to bring it into Unreal. So we covered how to actually export using the new plugin, bring it into Unreal, set it up inside the animation browser, so that we not only have everything aligned correctly, the correct animation set up, but we also have attached sockets so that we can spawn the muzzle flares at certain locations. With that, after that, we took a look at just bringing in the textures for it, and let's see, that was pretty much all I had to do asset-wise. After that, we got into the actual coding of the various classes of the gun. The core class is, of course, the LP rifle itself, the one that you're holding, and then the LP rifle pickup, the one on the ground, and the attachment, the one being held in the hand from a third-person view.
Okay.
And after that, it was simply a matter of coding in the different fire modes and their respective projectiles.
Very cool. Well, Logan, I'd like to thank you a lot for your work in this video.
Not a problem.
And that's going to wrap it up for this VTM, so thanks a lot, everyone.